I was 1 hit away from beating Millennia when my controller disconnected. I died. Sound familiar? Buying a wireless Xbox controller today is a nightmare of cheap knockoffs with severe stick drift or ridiculously overpriced models that break in weeks. It's frustrating throwing money away. That's why I've spent the last month rigorously testing the top wireless controllers to definitively find out which ones are actually worth your cash. Stick around, because the controller taking the #1 spot completely changed how I play, and it will do the same for you. 7. Xbox Wireless Gaming Controller. When I first pulled this out of the box, it immediately felt like coming home. Microsoft has refined this shape over multiple console generations, and picking it up feels incredibly natural in the hands. The textured grips on the back and the bumpers provide a very familiar, comfortable hold that just works for almost any hand size. I spent several hours playing Forza Horizon 5 with this, and the impulse triggers still provide that satisfying, rumbling feedback right into your fingertips whenever you hit the dirt. The updated hybrid D-pad is another strong point that I genuinely enjoy during my testing sessions. It rolls smoothly, making fighting games or quick menu selections in RPGs feel snappy and responsive. Additionally, the integration with the Xbox ecosystem is flawless. Pairing it to my console and my PC was a breeze, requiring nothing more than a simple press of the sync button. The share button in the center is also a handy addition that makes grabbing clips of your gameplay faster than ever before. However, the more I used this controller, the more its glaring age and limitations started to show, completely ruining the immersion. In a modern gaming landscape, the fact that this controller still relies on AA batteries by default feels incredibly outdated and, frankly, a bit insulting to the consumer. I constantly found myself scrambling for batteries in the middle of intense multiplayer matches. Furthermore, there are absolutely no back paddles or programmable buttons, which puts you at a massive disadvantage in competitive shooters like Call of Duty, where keeping your thumbs on the sticks is essential for survival. Worst of all, during my month of heavy testing, I already started to notice the very faint beginnings of stick drift on the right analog stick. 6. PowerA Advantage Wireless Controller. I picked this one up hoping it would provide a solid, budget-friendly alternative with some pro-level features sprinkled in. Out of the box, it certainly looks the part, mimicking the standard Xbox controller shape while adding some aggressive styling and extra buttons. It promises a lot of functionality for a lower price point, and the inclusion of 2 mappable advanced gaming buttons on the back is something I immediately gravitated toward. Setting up those back buttons was thankfully very straightforward. I didn't need to download any clunky software. I just held the program button, pressed the button I wanted to map, and clicked the back paddle. It was a seamless process that had me jumping into Apex Legends with jump and crouch map to the rear within seconds. The controller also features 3-way trigger loss, which is a fantastic addition on paper, allowing you to shorten the trigger pull for faster shooting in first-person shooters. Unfortunately, the actual execution of these features leaves a lot to be desired, quickly diminishing the fun the longer I played. The overall build quality feels incredibly hollow and cheap, lacking the dense, premium weight that you want from a daily driver. When squeezing the grips during tense gaming moments, the plastic casing actually creaked audibly in my hands. The trigger stops, while present, feel mushy and inconsistent. Switching to the shortest setting made the triggers feel like they were hitting a wall of wet cardboard rather than a crisp, mechanical stop. Additionally, the wireless connection proved to be disappointingly unstable during my testing. I experienced several micro disconnects where my inputs just didn't register for a split second, which is a fatal flaw when you are playing competitive games online. 5. Nacon Revolution X Unlimited. As soon as I took this out of its premium carrying case, I could tell Nacon meant business. The controller has a substantial, well-balanced weight to it that instantly feels high-end, and the matte finish prevents it from slipping out of your hands during sweaty gaming sessions. It's a bulky, robust piece of hardware that commands attention and feels incredibly durable. During my testing, the sheer amount of physical customization completely blew me away. You can physically swap out the thumbstick shafts to change their amplitude, and even pop off the stick heads to switch between concave and convex tops. I spent hours fine-tuning the physical resistance of the sticks using the included metal weights that slide seamlessly into the hand grips. This level of granular physical adjustment allowed me to tune the controller perfectly for sniping in Battlefield, giving me a level of control I didn't know I was missing. The software experience is equally impressive, allowing for deep customization of dead zones, response curves, and lighting. The back buttons are smartly integrated into the inner curves of the grips, meaning I never accidentally pressed them, yet they were always right where my fingers naturally rested. The inclusion of Hall effect magnetic sensors in the thumbsticks is a massive win here, completely eliminating the fear of stick drift that plagued the lower entries on this list. While it is an outstanding controller, it does take a little bit of time to get used to its slightly wider footprint, which might not be ideal for gamers with smaller hands. The face buttons are also a bit larger than standard, requiring slightly more travel time to press. However, these are minor gripes in the grand scheme of things. 4. FLYDIGI VADER 5S. FLYDIGI has been quietly making waves in the enthusiast controller community, and the VADER 5S is a masterclass in pushing boundaries. The moment I started playing Cyberpunk 2077 with this, I realized this wasn't just another standard gamepad. It features a sleek, futuristic design with customizable RGB lighting that manages to look premium without crossing into tacky territory. The standout feature here is undoubtedly the innovative force switch adjustable tension on the thumbsticks. Using a small dial around the base of the sticks, I was able to manually crank up the physical resistance on the fly. I loosened the right stick for lightning fast camera flicks and tightened the left stick for precise, deliberate movement control. Combined with the ultra-precise Hall effect sensors, the aiming experience on the VADER 5S is nothing short of revolutionary, offering a buttery, smooth glide that feels incredibly consistent. Beyond the sticks, the buttons on this controller are a tactile dream come true. The face buttons utilize mechanical micro switches, providing a delightfully crisp, mouse-like click with every single press. It makes executing combos in fighting games feel incredibly satisfying and responsive. FLYDIGI also managed to pack in 4 back buttons and 2 extra face buttons, giving you a ridiculous amount of mapping options that kept my thumbs firmly planted on the sticks at all times. If I had to nitpick, the sheer number of extra buttons can feel slightly overwhelming at first, and it took me a few days of muscle memory training to stop hitting the wrong macros. Furthermore, its software, while powerful, isn't quite as streamlined or visually polished as what you get from Microsoft or Razer. 3. Xbox Elite Series 2. Even years after its initial release, getting my hands on this controller again reminded me exactly why it is considered the gold standard for premium gaming. The build quality is simply immaculate. It feels like a heavy, cold piece of military hardware in the best way possible. The wraparound rubberized grips are the most comfortable I have ever felt, locking the controller into my hands no matter how intense the gaming session became. Customization is where the Elite Series 2 truly shines, and it does it with unparalleled elegance. Magnetic interchangeable thumbsticks and D-pads snap into place with a satisfying metallic clink, allowing you to swap out your entire setup in seconds between matches. I loved using the included tension adjustment tool to tighten up the sticks for precise aiming in Halo Infinite. The 4 metal back paddles are flawlessly designed, offering a crisp, responsive click while sitting exactly where your middle and ring fingers naturally rest. Another massive advantage of the Elite Series 2 is its incredible built-in rechargeable battery. During my testing, I managed to squeeze nearly 40 hours of continuous gameplay out of a single charge, completely destroying the battery life of almost every other controller on this list. The included carrying case even doubles as a sleek charging dock, meaning my controller was always topped up and ready to go whenever I sat down at my desk. It remains an absolute powerhouse, offering the best native integration with the Xbox console and Windows PC ecosystems. Yes, it relies on older potentiometer thumbsticks rather than Hall effect sensors, which is the only thing keeping it from ranking higher on this list. 2. PDP Victrix Pro. The moment I opened the box, I was greeted with something that looks less like a standard controller and more like a high-tech modular weapon. This is the ultimate controller for the gamer who refuses to compromise and wants a completely bespoke layout for every single genre of game they play. Its matte purple and black aesthetic is striking, and the build quality is undeniably top tier. What blew my mind during testing was the completely modular design. Using the included screwdriver, I unscrewed the entire right thumbstick and button module, pulled it out, and flipped it around to switch between a symmetrical PlayStation-style layout and an asymmetrical Xbox-style layout. I even swapped in a 6-button FightPad module to play Street Fighter VI, transforming the controller into a full-blown arcade pad in less than a minute. It is a level of hardware versatility that no other controller on the market can match. The performance is just as impressive as the modularity. The patented multi-position clutch triggers are brilliant, allowing you to adjust the trigger pull depth to 5 different settings on the fly. Dropping them down to a hair trigger for Call of Duty felt instantaneous, giving me a massive edge in gunfights. The 4 back buttons are built seamlessly into the handles, responding with a satisfying, low-travel click that never once failed me during high-stakes competitive matches. The only reason it doesn't take the #1 spot is the lack of rumble motors. To keep the weight down for tournament professionals, PDP completely removed the vibration functionality, which does take away from the immersive experience in single-player story games. But if you are a competitive player who turns off vibration anyway, the PDP Victrix Pro is a modular masterpiece that adapts to your exact playstyle with stunning precision. 1. Razer Wolverine V3 Pro. I have tested dozens of controllers over the years, but using the Wolverine V3 Pro was a genuinely transformative experience that ruined every other controller for me. From the second I picked it up, the ergonomics felt as if Razer had taken a mold of my hands. The textured rubber grips and perfectly balanced weight distribution make it feel like an extension of your body, rather than a piece of plastic you are holding. The defining feature that sets this controller light years ahead of the competition is Razer's mecha tactile action buttons and D-pad. Every single face button operates on a micro switch, delivering an incredibly satisfying, hyper-responsive mouse click. Moving back to a standard controller after using these feels like pressing your thumb into a bowl of mashed potatoes. Combined with the incredibly precise Hall effect thumbsticks, my aiming and reaction times in competitive shooters noticeably improved within hours of using it. Razer also completely nailed the back paddle placement. Instead of traditional paddles, the V3 Pro utilizes 4 ergonomic back triggers that are positioned perfectly for a natural claw grip. You don't have to stretch your fingers or adjust your hold, they're just effortlessly there. Furthermore, they included 2 extra programmable shoulder buttons right next to the bumpers, meaning you have a staggering 6 extra mappable inputs that are all incredibly easy to reach in the heat of battle. The Razer Wolverine V3 Pro is the undisputed king of wireless Xbox controllers. It seamlessly combines ultra-durable Hall effect sensors, the fastest and most satisfying buttons on the market, and flawless tournament-grade wireless connectivity. Ultra. That's all for today.